Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we look at Coffeezilla's Logan Paul's Refund. Now, I'm specifically looking at this because, one, anything that dunks on Logan Paul seems like it's a good choice in general because screw that guy. Two, I was told my last time looking at a Coffeezilla video was not entirely representative of what his channel's like. Normally, I've been told it's not nearly so depressing that you just sit there going, wow, this is horrible and it's never going to get better. Oh. Yeah, apparently I decided to pick the episode that was just there to make you hurt. Yeah. I'm hoping this is different. If I'm wrong, you're just going to see me in the back thinking, oh, it's like a Super Eye Patch Wolf video where you're either doing wrestling or you're doing pain. Pick your choice. Either way, we'll find out how it goes. If you guys know the deal, there's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. Let's get started.
Logan Paul is refunding people he scammed.
Today, I am incredibly happy to announce that I am delivering on my promise to buy back Base Egg and Base Animal Crypto Zoo NFTs. Oh, it's NFTs for the original purchase price. Is he actually doing it, though? Because I think I heard about this, not even on... Well, I didn't hear from Coffeezilla because I didn't watch him at the time. I think it was on Philip DeFranco what he was doing.
If they promise to stop suing him for the vastly large...
Ah! And that's the cop-out. He's not doing it because he's carrying through on a promise. He's doing it because they're suing him. Which, admittedly, if it's legally binding, if they take the money back, yeah. On the other hand, he's doing it because he got caught, and if they're currently suing him, that means it's in court. Taking these kind of actions when he's in court with someone... Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to give legal advice. But trying to get the people suing you to stop suing you by paying them a lesser amount, but not going through a settlement, that seems like something he probably should have contacted his attorney about. And if he didn't, I think he might be in trouble.
Larger amount he may owe them. And honestly, I'm conflicted. Because on the one hand, victims getting money is always great.
If he pays it.
I'm proud that our investigation led to some real-world consequences.
Oh,
but I can't...
Oh, so this is based on one of his investigations? Ooh. And that's probably where Philip DeFranco heard it from, probably from Coffeezilla. Okay, that makes more sense.
I can't pretend that things are fixed or fine for people who entrusted me with their story when that's just not true. So here's the real, more complicated story in 3 parts. The refund offer, the zoo tokens, the lawsuit, starting with the most important part. And if you get one thing from this story, this should be it. These are the estimated damages in Crypto Zoo. 18.5 million.
I mean, that's a lot of money, but at the same time, for some of these scams, there were a bunch that ran way higher.
$1 million.
Wait, estimated damages based on zoo? Sorry, I keep wanting to say that's something else, but the dollar sign ahead of it is annoying. Oh, the dollar sign is probably part of the name. Dollar sign zoo token version 1, 2, and 3, and Base Egg NFT sales of the Binance and Ethereum chain. Oh, that's what it's based on.
Which comes from a combination of Zoocoin and NFT sales.
So it was cryptocurrency and NFTs.
Smaller percentage of that pie is what Logan is actually offering to refund. On the condition, though, that all of the people who spent the last year suing him for the larger damages drop their case. So that's a refund of only 12% to drop 100% of the case that, as far as I can tell...
There are some times where that kind of return is not bad. Because there are some companies that they will gladly keep someone until the day they die fighting in court to get a payout that they've already won. I don't think Logan Paul is rich enough to pull that off. Even if he is vindictive enough. Vindictive? No, just dickish? Vindictish? Vindictish enough to pull this off and desire to do it. Because I don't think he's that rich. Granted, again, that's why some corporations do it.
Logan may be losing. Put in that light then, this refund starts to look less like a good faith attempt to make things right and more like a cynical bargaining chip to avoid getting in even more trouble. And a careful look at these refunds conditions show that Logan is even less serious of a person you may give him credit for. Logan is offering...
I already give him literally no credit. You know, considering how the previous video went, I should probably assume by the end of this, I'm going to be in the negatives. Thankfully, it's Logan Paul. I don't think that'll hurt me.
Only a 1-month claim window for this refund, given a year after waiting, and hidden in this wall of text is the most shocking part, which is that he's not releasing the CryptoZoo game
Wait, as far as the game itself, unfortunately, it will not be released. Yeah.
at all. Which,
Oh no.
I know we all kind
Horrible.
of knew that, but is actually insane because that's the thing. To be clear, he's sold millions of dollars.
And if he's currently in court and he just announced, oh yeah, that thing we were all taking money from that I definitely was going to do. By the way, I just announced we're not actually going to do it. Here's a partial refund. Yeah. It almost seems like he's digging himself a hole deeper than the one he's already in.
Of NFTs for and tens of millions of dollars of in-game CryptoZoo tokens for. I knew he wasn't going to make it, right? We all get that. But I watched for 3 years as Logan's...
This took 3 years. Cryptocurrency boom was in the 2020s and the 2021s. Oh God, that's been 3 years. I mean, let's be completely upfront about this. This doesn't feel like 2024. This feels like 2020 plus 1. And the previous 3 to 4 years were just 2020 parts 1, 2, and 3, or A, B, and C.
fans, and that's what these investors were. They were fans of Logan Paul.
I mean, that is his brand, stealing from the people who love him.
And the entire time, he told them he was working on it. And I thought,
and if you believe that,
even at my most pessimistic, that Logan would at least crap out some abomination that he described as a game that limped.
See, here's the best part about this. Putting out a shit game would have actually given him cover because incompetence is not criminal. You can sue him for it to get a refund. You can do a lot of shit if they actually put out a game. And it turns out, no, it's not that he scammed you. He's just incompetent. That is actually a good defense. It won't keep you from losing a job, from having to pay out refunds, but it'll stop a lot of shit. Taking the money, talking about it, bragging about it, and then going in a side post, offering refunds if they don't sue you. Well, also, we're not going to do the thing. Proves, yes, this was all a scam. And if the lawyers for every person, and hopefully it was a tort case, isn't looking at that going, oh, this is the day that just keeps making my paycheck go up. One, weird way to phrase that. That's kind of odd. And they're probably in their bathrobes, just dressing themselves in a pair of slacks that are made of dollar bills. Singles, because they don't want to actually use those. Because who uses singles anymore? That metaphor became really weird really fast. But all joking aside, it is actually a level of self-damage not to put out a game. Even if it's shit, even if it's rushed, it is worse if they do nothing and admit they did nothing. Because it looks so much worse. And while it depends on if it's a judge trial they're in, or if it's with an actual, if they brought in a jury for some reason, that would be weird, but they'd have to request that. And the judge probably would be worse. Unless they just go to arbitration, which is how most things go. But it sounds like he's trying his hardest to cut his own lawyers out by doing this stunt.
Past our lowest collective expectations, but I was wrong. I mean, I wasn't wrong the first time he said I was wrong when he said he was going to still finish the game. I was wrong that he was going to do it at all.
But even after 12 months of work, you've still managed to overlook one crucial piece of information. See, even though I've said it's coming so many times, you've assumed that CryptoZoo isn't being made. Who are you to decide when the development timeline ends? Trust me.
I'm pretty sure most people aren't the ones who decide that. But the fact that you were, the fact that Logan Paul decided that, again, probably the wrong choice on this one. In fact, this statement makes it sound even worse, especially if there's ever, I don't know, if they demand any type of document showing that the process had ended well before this statement. Not the one where he says he's going to destroy it, but the one where he said, who are you to say when it's going to stop? If they have any documentation anywhere, an email that they have to request by the other side showing that this was already stopped when he said this, it proves two things. One, he was still collecting money probably at this point, or was aware of it and hadn't offered the refund when he knew the game was not going to come out, or better, that he was lying about it. And as soon as you can show someone is lying about something involving money, it's not actually a deal breaker, unfortunately, but it is so much harder to get shit over.
CryptoZoo is coming. I will make damn sure of it.
Oops. Yeah. So much for making damn sure of it, because there's no game. This is what makes this such a massive con. This guy sold millions in NFTs, tens of millions of Zoo tokens, And he's not even going to release the thing he promised this whole time. This is why it's such a slap in the face. These investors spent 3 years waiting for a game. Not only that, 2 years waiting for an update, which he never gave, and then a year suing him.
Investor, that's a very loaded word. Specifically, now, if these are pre-orders, if these are people buying in a way that is just, I'm buying my copy, that is grounds to sue. An investor is someone who is expecting a return profit, and the NFT and crypto aspect could be considered that. But this is actually when you get into a real weird section of the law, in the sense that it doesn't keep up with cryptocurrency and NFTs, and no one can keep up with NFTs because they're all useless now, so no one's going to bother. But the basic idea of, hey, here is something that's going to make you money, give me money to get money, that is the basic investment strategy. I mean, that could work here. But this is also pre-order, essentially, for a game that people wanted to buy into, which isn't considered an investment. I'm saying this is weird because it can be an investment, but it's also a pre-order, which is just purchasing a product. It's crossing multiple lines because it can do both in this situation. And legally, though, the difference between scamming someone out of a product they wanted and scamming someone out of investment is a distinct difference. To give a context of what the difference is, scamming someone out of a product is bad, and Paul could lose money on that. Scamming someone out of investment is bad, and there are potentially criminal charges if someone can prove that high enough that maybe an investor happened to be friends with a DA who drops some kind of information to them. It's like, yeah, I could probably look into this. Because at that point, it's still stupid low amounts of money for what some of the investment cases can be, but it can.
And after all of that, all he offers is a 12% refund, no game, 30 days to accept. So look, Logan's already taking heat for making good on a promise that he made. His attorneys are probably
asking for a raise in advance pay.
But that's not even true. He's not making good on this promise because it's not the same promise. Last year, what he promised was no strings attached buyback and you get a game. This year, it's please drop your lawsuit and you don't get a game, which is incredible to me that there are influencers out there like KSI parading this around like a win for Logan Paul, like he's some sort of hero.
What will haters say now? Well, considering those haters probably include Logan Paul's attorneys, pay me.
Hero for offering a year late half-baked settlement offer. KSI says, what will the haters say now? I don't know. How about where's the game? Where's the art? Where's the millions invested? Where's the motivation for this tweet?
Where's my money, bitch?
Oh, wait. KSI is a co-founder with Logan and Prime. So, of course, that makes KSI.
Isn't Prime also being... Oh, yeah, it is actually also being sued at the moment, isn't it? I don't remember why. In my head, I keep conflating it with the Panera Deadly Drinks, which admittedly is still less caffeine than I consume on a daily basis, so I have really no reason to talk there. But I know they're the ones there. I'm not sure what Prime was being sued for. It was for some reason, but I cannot remember it.
Logan's new biggest fan. But seeing as how Logan treats his biggest fans, don't say I didn't warn you. So that's part one, the refund. Now part two is the zoo tokens. Remember, there were two parts to CryptoZoo, the zoo tokens and egg NFTs.
Okay, so this is my own ignorance about this. Let's call it a game still, even though it is very much just a ripoff. This was actually combining both cryptocurrency and NFTs at the same time. And not an NFT in the interesting way where it's literally just a hyperlink that's individualized to a JPEG. And let's be honest, that's all an NFT ever was. In terms of security, there's actually interesting implications to use it with, but no one ever used it that way because people conflated it with, in one case, an actual copyright, and that was stupid. But yeah. And then there's the crypto aspect, which was, well, probably done. Oh, wait, if he's starting, it started literally at the bubble, didn't it? In 2001, September. And then, so it literally started as the bubble burst. This is only over a few months from September to October in the same year. Oh boy.
Now, the tokens were the vast amount of damages that were actually caused, while the NFT sales were much lower. Logan conveniently wants to refund this much smaller part of his game, the NFTs, while pretending that these zoo tokens were never a real part. They were just gambling. Now, this was sort of less bad when the game was still going to come out because it made some sense. Maybe you'd still have these tokens, but now it makes no sense at all.
Wait.
Now this, while pretending that these zoo tokens were never a real part, they were just gambling. Now this was sort of...
Oh. It's crypto, which means there's an online aspect. It's gambling that he explicitly said was gambling because you can take money out of it. And on top of that, he then Is he trying to get someone to sue him? Every individual state has their own laws when it comes to various online gambling. There's legal ones on the entire federal government. And then on top of that, there's the aspect where you are getting people who mostly are your fans, who are mostly going to be kids, to pay for a game that is explicitly online gambling because they can take money out from it. The way a lot of gacha games, for example, get around that is because there's no tangible value that you can extract from it other than enjoyment. I mean, unless someone knows how to sell an account, in which case there's that, but most people don't bother looking that far, and it's not a direct actual thing. It's something you have to work around to get to. It's like the difference between gambling in Japan and happening to get a bunch of balls at pachinko that you walk around to another store that just happens to be buying those balls for a set rate. Yeah, that's actually how you get around gambling in Japan. But this is, oh my God. If he's explicitly saying, I hope he didn't say this in court. This is literally the judge at the end of the civil case where they're suing him, referring this to someone on the criminal side because it's that level of, oh my effing God, you are self-defeating.
Sort of less bad when the game was still going to come out because, it made some sense. Maybe
still bad, but not as bad.
Now it makes no sense at all. From Logan's statement, this buyback is a way for me to make whole those who intended to play CryptoZoo. The buyback is not
and of course, the whole being 12% is completely left unsaid.
Intended to compensate those who gambled on the crypto market and lost.
No. They were investing in your game because if it's considered an investment, that is very much a thing. You don't gamble with an investment, even though literally that's how some people treat investments. Hell, if someone takes the money from an investment and then they gamble it, that is literally investment fraud.
So he's describing people who bought his in-game currency as gamblers. But that's confusing because the whole point of these zoo tokens was to buy the egg NFTs and play the game. That's literally how it worked according to him. So instead he calls people gamblers, despite also saying, quote, Zoo token was created to support the CryptoZoo game and its players. It was, quote, not intended to be an investment vehicle.
And that's not even getting into the fact that he's explicitly selling a game to gamble, explicitly calling the people playing it gamblers who might not have realized they were gambling because his marketing wasn't based on gambling. It was based on playing a game. And oh God, like specifically considering his audience is mostly children. I'm not sure if it's changed. My information is outdated here, but at least 3 to 4 years ago, his audience was mostly between the age of 12 to 13. I mean, I know the statistics is technically 12 to 18, but 13 sounds more accurate in my head. That was the main audience, and they've probably aged out of that by now. And probably aged out of being his fans by now, but we'll ignore that fact. So that's also involving the child aspect, intentionally being sold a gambling product. Which again, specific states might have laws against that. I don't want to look that up because that's very boring. But there are just, oh my God, is he trying to speed run lawsuits against himself? I mean, not even just getting a refund right now. He should be very much looking into putting some money aside for when he has to declare bankruptcy.
So how can he say that, then turn around and say people who bought this were gambling? If it's not an investment, how can you refund people who intended to play CryptoZoo if you don't refund people who bought the token that was, quote, created to support the CryptoZoo game? You can't. It makes no sense. And this is why I say this isn't even close to a full refund. And now that he's abandoning the game, what we actually have is millions of dollars of in-game currency Logan sold that he won't pay back. Which brings us to the final part of this story. The third part, the lawsuit. After telling all his fans that
well, I would actually say I want to read that quickly. With this evidence in mind, today I have filed He filed a lawsuit in federal court in Texas to hold these bad actors accountable. The 25-page lawsuit is public and can be found here. Oh, I really hope he's the one who filed it. Because any attorney, I mean, admittedly, if they're paid to file something they know is frivolous, but they're paid in advance, sure, there's plenty who would do that. But I'm just looking at this going, so let me get this straight. He's countersuing them. You know what? I'm just going to quickly look something up. I'm going to pull this into a different window over here. Texas slap suit law. Yeah. Oh, he is, in a very professional term, fucked. Here, I'll put this over to a different place where someone can actually see it. That does not help much. Essentially, this right here, anti-slap action in Texas. Texas law help. In Texas, the law protects people from slap lawsuits called the Texas Citizen Participation Act. They have an anti-slap law. Basically, what a slap law is, it's someone like Logan Paul suing them for something completely frivolous. He is literally doing something that any lawyer who is for the plaintiffs right now and now being brought in as the defendant in this specific lawsuit is going to look at it and file this. They have a law on the books. There is a lot of strategy sometimes to not filing in states that have slap laws, but then maybe finding some tangential reason to go to a state that doesn't have a slap lawsuit, or specifically slap laws against them, or laws against slap, you know what I mean? And that would be fine. I mean, unless I'm completely misreading this. And again, I'm not an attorney. I could be easily misreading this. But if I'm not, what we're seeing here a case is an idiot fucking themselves. The acrobatics is a little more dramatic than I thought, so it apparently took 3 years to reach it. But congratulations, Logan Paul. You have completed the trifecta of sticking it in your own ass, and you are going to be pulling out a lot of money from it.
Part of this story. The third part, the lawsuit. After telling all his fans that they were gamblers who lost, Logan has one final surprise. He says, quote, "I have filed a lawsuit in federal court in Texas to hold these bad actors accountable. People who ruin CryptoZoo." But what Logan doesn't tell you is that Texas lawsuit is something he's being sued in already.
Oh, he's already being... Okay, that makes sense. I kind of figured that one. And he's being sued in, of course, it's a Delaware corporation. Just to give a little context, Delaware corporations are something notorious because there's so little regulation on what they can do, and it's so easy to incorporate and so much better tax-wise. The tax-wise, I'm only hearing secondhand. I don't actually know specifically. But they can get away with a lot of shit in Delaware that you can't get away with at other places. So a lot of places are incorporated in Delaware. No actual headquarters, but they pay a few taxes there because that's where they're incorporated. And then it causes so many other problems.
He's a defendant in the lawsuit that he links in his tweet. He's just cross-suing his co-defendants. Like, he's already being sued.
Anti-slap is going to be a bitch on him.
The same guys who are already being sued. And who are these secret bad actors Logan's going to hold accountable anyways? Turns out it's his employees he hired, Eddie Ibanez and Crypto King, which all of us...
Oh. So he's not suing the people suing him. He's suing his staff, his co-defendants, probably. Oddly enough, that does get him out of the anti-slap laws. Maybe. It's not nearly as cut and dry. I'm not even going to try and think that one through because I'm not a lawyer. I don't want to. I just have really weird tastes about some random facts and happen to include anti-slap laws. It's weird, I know. I just have a bunch of random useless knowledge that sometimes pops up.
Was already knew because I investigated the story a year ago. But imagine my surprise when Logan Paul tries to rewrite my investigation to pretend he did all the work himself and uncovered the real scam of CryptoZoo while simultaneously trying to erase his part in it. He says, and I find this...
The lawsuit is a result of an exhaustive investigation that included the review of the entirety of conversations and tracking nefarious trading activity related to the project nefarious trading activity taken behind our backs without our knowledge and with the intention of defrauding us all. And he's trying to win back his audience, who he's scammed plenty of times, by saying specifically us, to include us behind our backs, without our knowledge. Because he's trying to include them with him, and that language is, to his diehard fans, probably going to be enough. And KSI. Wow. This... And obviously, he's not the one doing the lawsuit because he has the response video out that could be pulled out by any of the defendants when he files this. Oh, God. If they want a reason to say, oh, no, he's bullshitting, they can literally just pull out his video talking about all of it and say, hey, here's where he promised it's going to be done. And here's where he went on the record doing this. I don't... There are plenty of lawyers out there who tell people when they're in court, shut the fuck up. I'm assuming his attorney either is incompetent and didn't say it, or is just collecting a paycheck right now and waiting for the inevitable loss because this guy is not shutting the fuck up. Oh, God. Yeah, this is actually much easier than the last video Coffeezilla did. It's much less painful because I can tell it's going to go bad.
It's very funny because I spent a year on that story. Quote, this lawsuit is the result of an exhaustive investigation that included the review of the entirety of conversations. You'd be forgiven to think he was quoting my investigation. He's not. He copied it and tried to rewrite it to make himself look good. In this lawsuit, he says things like, hey, guys, turns out Eddie Ibanez's entire backstory was a fabrication, including the MIT NFL story.
Okay, first up, well, it turned out is fine in a more informal setting to give information, to write a news article, to give a general source as. But if you're filing in court, it turned out. No, you just cut to Mr. Ibanez's backstory, and then you would explain it. It was a fabrication, and then you explain why it's a fabrication. You get everything down in explicit writing without it turned out that. That is an entire section of wasted words. Legalese is already bullshit enough as it is. And this is literally... This is written by someone who is not a lawyer because this is not legalese. This is what someone thinks is legalese. Is this dumbass acting as his own attorney? If someone in the comments knows if Logan Paul is acting as his own attorney, please lie to me and tell me he is. Because while he might be dumb enough to do that, I'm assuming someone with him then hired an attorney for him and just got him to accept when he was drunk and didn't realize it. Because this does not read like an attorney wrote it. This reads like an idiot who watched Law and Order wrote it. Or, to put it another way, like I wrote it.
Can you believe it? It's like, yeah, we know. And then he goes, yeah, well, you won't believe what I discovered. Crypto King secretly sold tokens. Yeah, we know. Logan just shamelessly rips off my work claim for claim without citing me. I mean, he says things like Mr. Greenbaum would later admit that he made millions of dollars through his surreptitious sale.
And I'm assuming that this is also literally the script that Coffeezilla read a year ago. I need to go find that previous video then. And again, yeah. I just realized, I compared myself to Coffeezilla in terms of writing. Different style, but not bad. I hate journalistic writing. I like reading, I can't stand writing.
Sales of Zoo tokens. But where did Logan find that admission? Was it perhaps when he investigated my video? Time and time again,
I don't care if you tell people I sold a few million and leave it at that. Crypto King. Seriously?
Lawsuit copies my work, but is embarrassed to cite it. So they even have to say things like, based on public reports. What public report?
Also, if you're filing in court and you don't actually say what those reports are, a judge is going to have fun with this one.
Mr. Ibanez made approximately $1.7 million from selling Zoo tokens. I could swear I've heard that before. And for my calculations, he made about $1.7 million. Now look, I don't usually mind people using...
Huh. How the hell did he age 5 years, but also get an incredibly awesome beard in the process? Like, his beard is actually fuller. It's like, here, it's like, okay, I can pull that off. And then there's this one, it's like, oh my God, I have beard envy. Also, for the record, I do have beard envy. I am very jealous of this beard. You lucky son of a bitch.
My work, But it's kind of a little strange that Logan is simultaneously trying to discredit my work, saying this lawsuit is not based on snippets of conversation taken out of context, a snipe at my investigation, while then stealth quoting it to pretend that they did any real legwork.
Oh my
and look,
God,
if you found that shameless, that he tries to steal my work and pass it off as his own.
Honestly, I don't find it shameless. I find it very stupid because lying about your sources, it's such an easy way to destroy credibility. If they're arbitrating, doesn't fucking matter. Everyone knows the score already. They're just trying to come to an agreement. If they're going through a judge hearing it, bad, because you can give the judge a bad opinion of you, and that could be reflected in any damages later if they decide against you. If it's a jury trial, because for some stupid reason they get that far, because it mostly ends in arbitration, if they do then on top of that request a jury, because in civil you have to actually explicitly ask for that, and then he's caught lying about something this inconsequential, this easy to prove, this would be such a layup for anyone in a court setting to just show, hey, here is this guy lying in this very easy to prove way with very public outtakes about someone who was against him. And now you see all this information if he's lying about this. Oh my God. I don't.
On investigation,
Short-sighted
this next
as
part
fuck.
gets even worse.
What?
Because Logan's story this whole time has been that it's all other people's fault. You know, it's just bad actors. Everyone but him was bad. He was always well-intentioned.
Any Logan, Jake, the Crypto King, Eddie Ibanez, the lead developer, Jeff Levin, Logan's manager. I'm sorry, but he looks like someone who should be on a poster just warning your kids to stay away from them. I don't need to say anything about Logan. It's all pretty obvious.
But his timeline contradicts him. According to his investigation, which is actually my investigation, in August and October of 2021, he learns that Jake Greenbaum and Eddie Ibanez are bad news, and he kicks them out of his team. So what does he do after that? He's gotten rid of the bad actors. Can't blame them anymore, right? Does he make CryptoZoo? No. For a full year before I made my video, Logan Paul had full control over his project. He admits it in his own lawsuit, and he did nothing.
He admitted in the lawsuit he had control for a year and is only doing the refunds now. The only way this doesn't immediately skewer him through the dick is if he fully says, now that I'm in full control, I realized I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'm floundering and there's literally no way this is ever going to work. And if you plead incompetence as the reason things are going now, I mean, taking a year to figure that out, a bit much, but people can bash their heads against things. And the idea of, well, just give me a year to see if I can figure it out is a stupid reason, but it's an excuse people might accept. A judge might accept, and again, arbitration wouldn't give a fuck. But that's the only way out. I doubt he'll take it.
Nothing. So how does he avoid accountability now? Well,
hopes and dreams.
Enter the whipping boy Jeff. That's right. Manager Jeff is making one last appearance. Logan blames Jeff for screwing up September 2021 through 2022. But you know what he doesn't mention? What he'll never mention? The real reason the project didn't get back on track is not because of Eddie, not because of Crypto King.
No more money coming in?
Logan's own team stopped paying developers who are working on rebuilding the game. So those people stopped working on CryptoZoo.
Are you fucking serious? So not only is this not even something he's running himself, all he had to do to finish it was just to keep paying them. But as soon as the scam was discovered, he stopped paying them. This is so stupid. It actually gave me a headache. I legitimately feel pain right now. Okay, let me just give you an idea of why this is stupid. One is Logan Paul. That should stand to reason on its own, but apparently no. It's that intentional bullshittery, criminality aspect right now. If you want to show guilt, if he had stopped paying them later and said he wasn't satisfied, sure. The timeline's going to matter here. But the fact that he did it at all, the fact that it didn't come out is when he didn't stop or he didn't pay them. And then later he decided to announce it was dead. That timeline's already going to be pretty bad. It really just comes down to, did he stop paying them immediately after the scam was found out. The closer that date gets, the more damning it gets. Because if the only purpose of developing the game was the scam, it would look like that if the game stops being developed when the scam's uncovered because no more money. But if it went long enough, if it only died maybe in the last month prior to deleting the game or saying it's not going to be done, then it looks like, okay, at least he tried. Sure. But the timeline does matter so much right now. The further back it gets, the more incriminating it is.
And that's when I found it. The game was dead. It had been dead for months. And that's when I made a big stink out of it. Meaning, it was 100% within Logan's power to save this game. I'm not saying nobody else did better.
Wait, he made a big stink about this a year ago, right? So this was already dead a year ago. And that's why he said it. And then Logan Paul would have put out the video saying it's not dead. How dare you say that? Oh my. Sorry, this isn't even a matter of date. Like the fact that if I'm not completely wrong here, and it's me, so that's entirely possible. That is... dude, consider filing bankruptcy and hoping nobody bothers enough because you haven't made yourself such an asshole that some prosecutor might think, hey, easy points. Because at this point, it would be easy points.
Logan ultimately had over a year to launch it, to make things right, and he didn't. For financial reasons.
Money.
Not because someone backstabbed him. He just didn't want to spend the money it would take to make things right. And you know what? That is still true now. It is still 100% within Logan Paul's power as a near billionaire with Prime to make things right, fully right, with his fans.
Wait, did that quote even say I'm not like a good businessman? Logan Paul to create history by becoming the first YouTuber billionaire of the world. Really? The first one? I mean, is that just in personal money or money brought in? Because I'm pretty sure Mr. Beast has already, just in the visible videos, brought in and then spent $1 billion. That'd be 100 million, right? No, that'd be 10 hundreds of millions. Or the equivalent of maybe a year of Mr. Beast content. With how expensive his videos get, I wouldn't even be surprised. Talks about KSI saying, I'm really like, or not like a good businessman. No, it's KSI saying that. So apparently KSI is the self-aware one. Wow.
Fully right with his fans who he scammed. And if he did, gave a full refund, we would all celebrate. Me foremost. But will he?
Nope.
Or will he try to dodge responsibility, cheap out, rip his fans off, and avoid accountability? I think it's the latter. So, those are the three main points. You're all caught up. To recap, part one, refunds. They're being used as a bargaining chip to drop a lawsuit, and so he never has to produce this game, which has been...
And technically, we have seen similar Paul behavior documented in Super iPad Schwoll's video about internet creator scams. So this isn't even the first time a Paul has been covered for a similar scam activity. This one is just much more blatant.
Promised for 3 years, and he's sold
That's not even the first time.
tens of millions of dollars.
Covered it, apparently.
Part two is the Zoo tokens. He's pretending they're not for a game that they definitely were for to avoid refunding people, when in fact he admits they were created to support the game. Part three is the lawsuit, where he stole my investigation, tried to pass it off as his own, but just cuts out the part where he did everything wrong.
And again, I'm just going to re-highlight the fact that he put out statements, public and well-seen statements, where he was trashing Coffeezilla for all the things he said were never true, means that anyone who's brought this is going to have a very easy way to show it's all shit. Because he put out statements counteracting all of that investigation. All you need to do is, prove that it was done by Coffeezilla. And while Logan Paul say, well, it just happens to look like that, that's stupid because it's easily see that some of the dialogue matches up directly because Coffeezilla already showed us a clip where the dialogue almost directly matched. Like I said before, this guy is speed running lawsuit hell.
And leaves out the entire year where he was solely in charge of the project. No bad actors.
Died because he decided not to pay
everything, but he didn't because he's cheap and doesn't want to pay anybody. Anyway,
He's
I
stupid.
hope that catches you up with what's been going on, and I hope we as a community can have the nuance and complexity to hold in our minds two things at the same time as true. One, it's always good if victims get any money back, and we should celebrate that. However, number two is that doesn't mean we can't fight for 100% of what they deserve. And Logan Paul is not a hero for doing this or making things right. He's a serial scammer who's offering a minority refund as a last-ditch effort to save his wallet and his reputation.
If anything, the dumbest thing he's doing in this scam is that he keeps it copied down to just 30 days. If it was a rolling refund, more people might actually take him up on it. And that's probably why he did the 30-day cutout, because after that, it's like, well, I offered a refund. You just didn't take me up on it. Oh my God. It's so stupid. So Logan Paul is a massive self-defeating idiot who is apparently trying everything he can to piss off as many people as he can, and he's filing lawsuits that might count as a slap suit, because he's filing people for explicitly frivolous means because he's making things up. And while there's a little stress work there where it might be a slap, it might not, because he's not suing the people suing him, but it's about what he's being sued for himself, trying to deflect the blame. It's close enough that without actually reading into the text or what his specific arguments are, it could count, and that's just a small portion of this. Basically, what I'm taking away from this video is Logan Paul needs to hire an attorney or hire a better attorney, because someone is not telling him to, please, for the love of God, just shut the fuck up. You just need to stop talking. Just stop doing things. On the other hand, if someone could actually shut up Logan Paul, they probably have been failing for a very long time, so it doesn't matter at this point. Oh, God. Honestly, though, just me. Compared to the last Coffee Village, wow, why am I saying that? Coffeezilla video I saw, this one is not nearly as depressing. The last one, that was just, here's bad shit. Nothing's probably going to happen because he's already fled the country. This one is, here's bad shit, but things are moving forward. It is not hidden. We have a chance, and it's going to do something eventually. I can see why people said I should check out more of his things, because the last video was representative. Because if this is more representative, just getting this little timepiece of here's what's going on, people are being held accountable, especially that last part. That last part is really nice, man. Because there's a lot of shit out there that people get away with because there's just too much. This, though, it's someone being held accountable, and I just love that. So, yeah, I enjoy this for completely Schadenfreudian reasons. I'm enjoying the pain right now, and it is good. I know that sounds kind of psychotic, but in this case, I'll take it. Basically, if you haven't already, link below video, hit it up. I know I said basically 3 times, well, now, but I'll take it. I'm being weird, but again, link below, hit it up. Coffeezilla did a great job, and I'm glad this one is more upbeat, because idiot is going to get comeuppance and will probably face further slapdowns because he's an idiot. If there's not another case brought against him, I will be surprised at this point, because he's being a very loud idiot who has taken money, and those are usually not good things together. So yeah, if you guys want me to check out more things from Coffeezilla, let me know, or specifically which ones to check out that are not nearly as depressing. I've already got enough depressing stuff with Super Eye Patch Wolf videos. I don't want to do more, because that would literally break my head. I mean, more that's already broken in other ways, but details. Again, I already said it, but it was a really good video. Hit it up. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.